A message to all wholesalers that are not making money. If you're a wholesaler right now and you're struggling to get wholesaling real estate deals, you're struggling to get consistent leads in your CRM, and if you're just struggling to make money in wholesaling real estate, especially during these times, I want to tell you exactly what you're probably doing wrong. I would say most people that are struggling to get consistent deals or just deals at all, there's three main issues that they're doing, and they can obviously fix them actually really easy. Everyone thinks it's going to be a video where I just tell you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work 500 hours a day, and that's how you become successful, right? And, you know, everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows you want to be successful, you got to work hard, right? Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of factors. I talk to people that are just, you know, they put in the work, but they're not becoming successful, right? Yeah. And so, of course, we can gloss over how much effort you got to put in this business to become successful. But like, I think everyone's been told that. Everyone's watched the David Goggins motivational videos, work hard all day. You know, they've seen it all, right? Your legs break. You know, they've all seen it. But like, there's so many more things about that why you're not becoming successful in wholesaling outside of that. And no one ever talks about it, right? Everyone talks about you got to work all these hours, but there's most of the time, it's not even that. You know, everyone can work hard. It's the things outside of it. So what we want to do is really deep dive in your own business and give you the honest truth of how you're going to become successful and how this video hopefully will be the catalyst to change your life and everyone's life in your own wholesaling real estate business. So if you're excited right now to get into wholesaling real estate, start changing your life today, do us a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and obviously comment below your questions, and we'll help you become the best wholesaler possible. So without further ado, let's get into it. Cue the intro. Let's make a ton of money wholesaling real estate. Woo!
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, again, they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up. Get up.
All righty, let's go, guys. I'm excited. I'm ready to go to help you guys out. And I am fresh off of a podcast, another freewholesaling.com member. He will be unnamed. 73 grand, first 3 months. I talk to people making $100K a year. I got another guy making 4 to 5 deals every single month. These are just people I've talked to today that have just been in the DMs thanking me. And I say, okay, let's go on a podcast. Let's talk. Let me dissect your business. They all go to freewholesaling.com. They don't pay a guru. They don't do any of that stupid stuff. They literally just do what we teach at freewholesaling.com, and they consistently get wholesaling deals. And from the point where we have hundreds of thousands of people following us and over 100,000 people in freewholesaling.com, hint, hint, go to freewholesaling.com, I talk to these people, and it's very, very simple what they do. There's 3 things that they do very, very well that they consistently get wholesaling deals. And this is a shocking revelation, but they do the same 3 things that I always tell you guys to do. And that's it. So there's 3 really main components you need to do. And if you're lacking one of them, it's kind of like a tripod, right? Yeah. You have to have 3 bases on your tripod for it to work.
Or you're going down.
You're going down, right? And a lot of you guys are kicking one of them. You might have the 2 perfectly done. I don't care how nice the 2 legs are. If the 3rd leg's not there, it's over, right? Yeah. And heck, you could have 4 legs. And if you take one off, you think it's a tripod. No, it's not done the right way. So that's what we want to talk about today. We really want to talk about why you're struggling. This is an urgent message to people that they need to know. And I feel like there's so many wholesalers doing so well from freewholesaling.com. There's also so many people struggling. And it's not you have to pay someone to do it, or it's really simple stuff. And after helping hundreds of thousands of people become successful, I know it works and I know it doesn't work, right? There's not one person on the internet with more wholesaling real estate testimonials than us. And so I can tell you, I've brought people to the promised land, and we can just really help you guys out. So let's get into it. Let's break it down, and let's talk about it. So there is 3 main issues I see with wholesalers that are struggling right now. There's a lot of people doing very well. Is this the best time in history to ever get in wholesaling real estate? We can dive deeper in that a little later if you want, but there's so many people struggling, but they'll struggle in any market. It's not this market that's the issue. For half, actually, I would say there's a decent amount, and we'll get into that. But let's just talk about the simple formula of wholesaling real estate. Now, this is the one where you cringe and roll your eyes, but it's true, okay? The amount of money and the amount of deals you get in wholesaling real estate, it's your own effort. And so these aren't the 3 main reasons, but I do want to let everyone know, and I know I kind of made fun of this in the beginning because it's true. We've talked about the effort thing forever, and that's not where we're going to focus on today, because most people know they have to do the work, right?
I already know it.
So it's like, 4 reasons why you can't lose weight. Like, obviously everyone knows the need to work out. So if you don't work out and you eat fast food every day, of course it's not going to work, right? So it's like, this is kind of the simple stuff that I don't think we need to gloss over. I think you guys are smart enough to know. Usually the amount of money you're going to make in this business, the amount of deals you do, is the marketing effort you have. And so if anyone's out here struggling, not making money, and you're spending an hour a week cold calling, like, that's why, right? And you're cold calling a very saturated list, like, it's simple, right? So the effort's very, very important, but it's how you do the effort, which I think is the things we need to talk about, because those are the 3 things. So everybody knows you can put all the effort in the world and not be successful. And that's, I think, the main issue a lot of people have. And so everybody knows, put in the effort, right?
Yeah, it's guys, I'm on year 21. I'm just telling you, I've seen people buy during even the lowest part of the real estate market in 2009, 10. And it's the exact same story in 2023. Yeah. And I'm here to tell you, it's like, either you have to change your mentality on how you operate in this business. But like, I have 21 years experience. A lot of the stuff you guys tell me now is the exact stuff that I had to overcome. And I've watched everybody come in and out of this business. And as you say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So these 3 things we're kind of going over with you, although they are relatively simple, it's true. And the sooner you accept the truth, the easier it is to fix it and correct your actions to be on a more positive course.
Yeah. And so everyone knows. So we're going to say it once, and we'll get into the actual, like, important stuff, the urgent message for everybody. But just know, the stuff we talk about, it doesn't, if you're not putting in a marketing effort at all, it means nothing, right? Like, it is, there's no point, right? Literally, if we're talking about how to drive from Cleveland to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, obviously we can talk about the roads and the map and the best way, what's the most scenic, but if you got no gas in the car, what's the point of even talking about it? So guys, the marketing is the gas for the wholesaling business. So you cannot expect to drive. Let's do Los Angeles to Vegas. Okay. It's about 4 or 5 hour drive. I want to make that drive. It's pretty cool, but you cannot expect to go that drive with 1 gallon of fuel. It makes no sense, right? You cannot go 5 hours with 1 gallon of fuel. And I know you're Mr. Electric Car over here, but
where are you going with this?
But no, I'm talking about for a gas car.
Yeah.
You cannot, with 1 gallon of fuel, you can't go 400 or 500 miles. You can't. So don't expect that to happen. All right. A lot of people are expecting, oh, I put 2 hours in driving for dollars, I need to make $500,000, right? Like, you got to put the gas in the fuel. All right. And so for your analysis, you can't go 300 miles with only 2% charge. All right. So I'm trying to put in your head, but I'm telling you guys right now, if you do not put the marketing effort, none of the things we talk about is going to help you out. And so that's what we want to talk about. And that's what we're getting to. So what are the 3 main reasons most wholesalers are having? Let's talk about number 1. This is probably the easiest part. You're putting in the effort, but you're getting in your own way. And we've talked about this forever, but like, you're getting in your own way to wholesaling real estate success. You know what you got to do. Yeah, sure, we can do the easy marketing tactic, but why don't we do the one that's kind of hard to get? The probate list, the water shutoff list, the tax delinquency list that no one else in my market is getting. You already know you have to do it, but a lot of people in their heads, they do this thing where it's like, oh, It's raining today. It's difficult. It's a hard list. I bet no one's even going to pick up when I call them. I'm not going to cold call because of this. It's just a lot of you guys are just getting in your own way. And it's not the outside exterior circumstance. It's actually you guys that's causing these problems, right?
Yeah,
you got to get out of your own way.
Here's the reality of it. So I left a corporate job to go to wholesaling. I don't know about you. Any of you guys got like a corporate job, it's mostly BS. Like you do just enough to keep your boss off your butt. You keep the money rolling in the company. And if you grow too fast, they chop you up. You know the whole story. So we get in this environment. I was in this environment for almost 12 years. So when I went to wholesaling, I was really excited and scared. But the reality is I had to make huge adjustments because we have these filters over our eyes. So assume you wear glasses, I wear contacts. And if you apply the same principles to your old lifestyle that got you in a job you don't like, you're not making the money you need, and you have no time in your hands and you're stressed out beyond reason, if you take those exact same filters and you put them on for wholesaling, you're going to get the exact same result. You see, if you repeat the stuff that's got you in the bind you are right now, you're going to get the exact same result. And then a lot of people are like, well, wholesaling doesn't work. No. You don't work. That's just the reality. Honestly, if we could just be accountable in our truth and say, listen, I'm going to have to change how I operate. I understand 2 hours of productive time over an 8 to 10 hour workday. That's corporate America. That's how it's designed. Wholesaling, it doesn't matter. We all get 24 hours a day. You choose how you do it. It's not about working 24 hours a day. It never has been. It's about being very, very exact and laser focused. And if you try 100 things at once, like you do in the corporate world, you're going to fail miserably at this. Get your goggles off, clear them, and then set direct intention, because you would be amazed. You always hear this theory, like the less I work, the more money I make. It doesn't start out that way. It's kind of like a J curve. You're going to have to go down, get momentum, and shoot back up. But I'm telling you, a lot of you guys are operating on your old principles. But you've changed businesses, you've changed careers. That's great. But unless you change your rules, like right now, I see some strange comments in here, and I'm okay with it, you guys being honest with me. But if you're in a funk and you're not feeling good, like you got to start, remember, you woke up today. Like you got a gift a lot of people didn't get. The sun is shining. You're going to complain how it's hot. Like just be grateful you're here, your loved ones, everything like that, and go make the best out of the day. End of story. At the end of the day, we talk about accountability parts. None of that matters. If you can't be accountable to yourself, there's nothing me and Zach can do for you. And that's the reality. You have to change your mindset. And if your old mindset's broken and you know it, it is going to be a progressive change. It does not change overnight. And you got to get in habits. It takes at least 21 days. I say a month or two, but you're going to have to make the conscious effort to change the way how you think about how you personally operate. You've got to be about productivity, not about hours logged in. You've got to go for results. And here's the last one. I'm going to end it with you because I can go all day on this. You're either going to take the action or you're going to make an excuse. You're going to do one or the other. You have to make that choice. It's up to you. I guarantee you there's no other way to go. You either do the necessary action or you make an excuse. Prove me wrong. It's just the truth. I know it's painful. It hurts. But as soon as you accept that truth, you know there's only two routes you want to take. The reality is most of us take us the excuse route. I've been there. I used to be the king of it. I made a change, and then when I got really good at wholesaling, I got lazy. I made excuses, and then I go, hey, I'm just going to do the hard work. So just learn from me. I'm giving you 21 years. He's been doing this for a long time, and I just want you guys to make the change.
Exactly. And so you guys just understand that there will be excuses in this business, right? And there are excuses that are valid. And so I know we like to harp on saying excuses are the worst thing, but there are some excuses where it makes sense. First of all, you cold calling on Christmas. That's a good excuse not to cold call that day.
You just don't cold call. It's not an excuse.
But you can make it's an excuse. You're excused from cold calling on Christmas, right?
Excused.
Yeah.
With a D.
I guess so. But like, hey, it's Christmas. I can't cold call. I shouldn't cold call. That's an excuse, and that's pretty valid. But you saying it's 6 p.m., people are probably driving home, they never answer the phone. That's a terrible, like on a Monday. That's the best time to cold call. So those are two excuses One makes a lot more sense than the other. One, you're getting in your own way. One, you're not, right? And so you just got to understand what your excuses are. You know, a very important family thing. Someone's in the hospital. Like, those are excuses that make sense. Those aren't the excuses we're talking about. We're talking about the, you know, I don't want to put a sticky note on the door because what if somebody asks me, who am I? Like, those are terrible excuses, right? You got to get out of your own way. And so the problem most people have getting their own way is, here's one thing. It's not an excuse. It's complicating things. There's a lot of analytical, smart people that get into wholesaling that never make any money because they complicate everything to death. They make everything super. I need a whole CRM system. I need to code the perfect website. I need to get 50 type of web. I have to get web hooks and Zapier integrations. And I got to get all they do all the fancy schmancy stuff. But really, they're using that as an excuse not to actually start. Yeah. Oh, I got to make an LLC before I start cold calling. And they'll spend 2 weeks making an LLC, right? Guys, stop complicating it. This business is all about finding people that want to sell the property for cash, running up a contract, and selling that contract to a cash buyer for a profit. Anything you do in between that, it helps. The LLC is something about liability, but it's not going to be something that's going to make or break you. Get your first deal without an LLC. I always tell everyone to do that because it stops so many people. Some people, there's people, you know, people spend $2-3 grand on an LLC to start wholesaling. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Stupid. I mean, guys, stop complicating. Go out here and do the work you know you got to do and stop just stopping yourself, right? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Just quit the excuses in your own life. Quit the excuses of why you can't get into wholesaling. Like you said, you woke up today. Use that as a gift, right? A lot of people wake up, they find the fault in the world. Wake up, use that as motivation, because I always tell everyone, you know, hey, you woke up today. You know what that means? Somebody your same age, same demographic, probably in your own same city, didn't wake up today. And you can either use that, you can look at that and be sad about it, or use that as fuel motivation to live life to the fullest. And in my opinion, living life to the fullest is achieving all your dreams, doing something that's difficult, overcoming those challenges, and living a life that will help you out, most importantly, your family out, and your future family and generations to come. I always tell everybody, what's the goal? Retire your mom. That is always the goal for everyone in wholesaling real estate. And if you're not dad, you're fine. But like I'm telling you, retire your mom. You know, we're nowhere without our moms. You never gave birth to me, so you don't get the pass. But I'm just saying, like,
it was my idea.
Okay, we're not getting into that.
Okay.
But what I'm telling you is retire your mom. And the cool part is you woke up today.
Well, retire yourself first.
Retire yourself first. Well, I'm just telling guys, you woke up today. You have a duty to yourself, for your family, and for your generations to come, that you are going to take care of them. And the best way to take care of your family, which is to achieve financial freedom, become a millionaire, make at least $100K a year, is through wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling real estate will not discriminate against you. Wholesaling real estate does not care what your age is. Wholesaling real estate doesn't care what, honestly, it doesn't care if you have a criminal background or not. Being a realtor does. They don't care if you have a GED or not. They don't care if you have a college degree. The only thing wholesaling real estate discriminates and cares about is how much work you're willing to put in this business. This is why I love this business. This is why it's the best key to freedom financially for you and your family. And any barrier you put in front of you is not going to help you out. So the last part about becoming successful, about getting in your own way, you have to remove all barriers to your success. We all know hurdles on the Olympic tracks, right? They put hurdles there, right?
I can't do that.
And so they do hurdles on 100 meters, right? And when you put a hurdle in front of you, it slows you down, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't run as fast as the guy with no hurdles. And so if you want to get your first wholesaling real estate deal, it is like 100-meter sprint. There might be hurdles in front of it. Every hurdle you have to go over is going to just slow you down. Here's the cool part. You can remove those hurdles before you start racing. And the hurdles are all in your mind. There's no physical hurdle in your own business. It's all in your mind. A lot of the hurdles are your excuses. A lot of the hurdles is maybe you not going to freewholesaling.com. Maybe your hurdle's not going on a one-on-one. Maybe your hurdle's not asking the right questions or actually going out here and trying to learn what's up. Guys, if you remove the barriers to stopping you from talking to a motivated seller, going to the appointment, signing a contract, talking to a cash buyer, assigning it, making a profit, anything in between that is just a hurdle that's stopping you from success.
So you guys, your barriers, just keep in mind, they're all built in your head.
They are.
And 95% of them are just, there's a really bad information. Let's face it. The talks we have with ourselves, sometimes you are not the best person to get your own advice from. And remember, you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to yourself in your head. So the reason you put up barriers and or make excuses is because you're trying to avoid the action because it's making you uncomfortable. Think about that for a minute. Why don't you start thinking, well, if I make those phone calls, what could go right? All our brain is programmed to find out everything that's going to go wrong. And here's the reality. I've taken a lot of action in this business. That is the cure for most wholesalers. And the reality is we're scared, or we make excuses, or we create barriers not to do it. Think about this. You either, when you take the action, you guys are so scared you're going to fail. And that's what's stopping you. Here's the reality is you don't fail. If you take the action, you're either going to get a monetary result or a desire you want, or you're going to get a lesson. And I got to be honest with you, I got a lot of lessons, guys. Those lessons are what we call the journey of wholesaling. You can't avoid them. There's no guru, coach, Zach, me. You all are going to have to experience at one point because that's how real business works. But I'm just telling you, you're not going to get an A+ on every action you take. You're going to get some Fs and you're going to get some incompletes. Incomplete's the worst. But you're either going to get a result you desire or you're going to get a lesson. They're both extremely desirable. By avoiding it, you get neither. And you are stuck in this perpetual loop and you can't get out of it. And your excuses and your barriers just keep growing and growing. Take the action. We're all on this earth temporarily. You're either going to get the result or you're going to get a lesson. They both have tremendous value.
So exactly. And there are some things that are hurdles that you just can't remove, right? I tell you to remove all of them, but there are some you can't remove.
Like your son?
I guess so. But for example, like if you're wholesaling from, let's say, LA or New York City and doing virtual, that's a hurdle, right? It shouldn't stop you, but it's something you got to learn how to get over, right? We got people in Nigeria who we talked to Kenny. I had 3 deals from Nigeria. First of all, being in Nigeria, and I mean, he speaks English very well. They speak English in Nigeria. So I think they speak, I don't know the language there's like 50 languages there, like in Nigeria. It's crazy. One. But first of all, he has to go from Nigeria. So first of all, he's got virtual wholesaling he has to do. Number 2, he has an accent, which it's not going to stop you, but it's something you got to learn how to get over mentally that, oh, they won't talk to me because of an accent. They don't care if you have an accent, but getting over that. And most importantly, the dude's got like a, I don't know, 15-hour time difference in the United States.
Yeah.
He went over all of those and still got 3 deals. What's your excuse to why you haven't gotten 3 deals this year, right? Guys, if people from Nigeria are doing this, where I looked it up, the average income is $800 a month. Obviously, there's people that make way more, people make way less. But like, Kenya never said, oh, I'm going to quit now. No. Just took his head up, went to work, right? And so, guys, there's going to be issues and barriers and things that always pop up. That's life, right? But it's how you deal with that adversity, that struggle. And
you have to set yourself in the mindset. You know what your mother said to me when I started wholesaling?
What?
She goes, what are you going to do if it doesn't work out? Or I think she said, what are you going to do if you fail at it? I go, I really haven't contemplated that option. And I got to be honest here, it was fuel I put in my tank that I pushed harder than I think anybody else at the time. And I'm just telling you, it was like, if you're even asking yourself that question, you have to take the mentality to go, I'm not even considering that because I'm going to take such an enormous amount of action and just commit myself to it. So here's the other problem is if you're going to dip your toes in wholesaling, don't do it. It's cold. You can't dip your toes in and be successful. You got to, like a plunge pool, just go all in. It's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to be wildly uncomfortable, but you'll get used to it and you'll get used to the new lifestyle and the change that comes with it. But you ever try to go in a pool like real slow?
Yeah.
It's even on like a hot summer day for a Florida guy, I still got to like jump in all the way. And I can't stand cold temperatures. You know why? Because I'm not used to it. It's wildly uncomfortable. When I go to the Northeast, like even snow skiing, guys, it's cold. I don't know how you guys survive that, but I enjoy doing it. And you have to understand it's going to be uncomfortable. You're so conditioned that everything has to be comfortable that it's got to be weird if it's not comfortable. Get uncomfortable. It works.
Yeah. And just also, guys, like he had a full-time job and wholesaled part-time. Like once they go all in, I'm not telling you to go burn all your boats and everything.
No,
right?
no. I kept my full-time job.
He kept his job. I kept my job when I was doing it too. This isn't a thing where you're like, oh, I'm going to quit everything. You know, I got 4 kids and I'm just going to quit it and we're going to see what happens, right?
I don't want to have people suffer.
So we're not saying to do that. When I say go all in, I say go all in on actually making an effort part-time in this business, right? And go all in on actually learning it. Not like I get people that come in and say, Zach, I want to make a quick 20K in wholesaling and then do it so I can do my personal fitness, business or whatever. Those guys are never going to be our gals are going to be the ones that have become successful. It's because you actually have a real journey and a vision for it. If you're only making a quick 100K, there's no point, right? You got to do it for something bigger. And so number 2 here, first of all, getting your own way is probably the toughest one I've seen most people. There's some other ones, right? Number 1, you have the wrong marketing. There are so many real estate wholesaling YouTube videos outside of our channel that teach you the special method. They call it the heat method. They'll call it the flare method. They'll call it whatever they want. And they'll tell you a secret new strategy that was in a book 20 years ago that they're just trying to resell you. And, they've never done it before, but they're going to tell you to do it. And you got all these strategies, you got all this information, and sometimes you just pick the wrong marketing channel, right? I hate to tell you, there's a lot of marketing channels out there for wholesaling real estate. Some are just going to be terrible in your market and some are going to work. But how do you figure it out?
Yeah.
Testing it out, right?
Guys, there's not a marketing channel I have not tried.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I've spent some outrageous money things on that have failed terribly for me. Now, keep in mind, sometimes certain markets, they just don't work. Like I tried radio in my market. It's not that it's expensive. It just, the way they do it, it's such a broad area. You're actually better off doing virtually.
We've had better ones.
I've done TV. It's just hard. And then you got to deal with the political ads. I've tried anything that will get me to there, but it's a different skill set, a different time in your life. But if you don't try stuff, you'll never know. And that's why we're so adamant on getting you started where there is the highest probability of getting a great wholesale deal. Because if you can just get 1, 2, 3 under your belt, then you experience the journey, you've tested some stuff out, and you'll find out what you like. You'll also find out what you don't like, and then you can get some direction and then really push forward.
That's it. So sometimes you got the wrong marketing, and you just got to test it out, right? Now, most of the time, if you do the marketing that no one else is doing, you'll be fine. So, for example, cold calling a vacant property list is usually a very good list, right? It's a very good list. Yeah. People are getting big deals from it, but sometimes it's just not working. If you do the vacant property list in Houston, Texas, it's probably not going to be the best list to cold call. Just there's so many wholesalers there. There's so many. When I say there's so many wholesalers there, that means there's a lot of deals there. But also that doesn't mean that when I say that, that's like, oh, you should just quit Houston. Houston's one of the best wholesaling markets to be in. But if you do a list that everybody and their mom is doing, it ain't going to work. And so every other wholesaling coach and influencer says, pull a list off PropStream or Batch, cold call that list, and pay me 50 grand, right? Like that. That's how it works. And the problem is if everybody listens to the same person to say doing the same thing, it's not going to work out. That's why I don't tell you only have to do this one thing. I probably give you 30 or 50 different marketing lists and channels and all these things because I think you should figure out which one feels best for you and which one gives you the best results. Now, theoretically, the harder it is to do the list, the better the list is going to be because there's less wholesalers with that list. For example, that's why I say government lists are probably the best ones. Probates, code violations, water sharps, fire damage properties. You guys kind of get the gist. Tax delinquencies, the arrest record list. Most wholesalers aren't willing to do that, which means if you're in a saturated market like Houston, they'll probably give you good wholesaling real estate deals. Now, if you refuse to do that and you do the list that's really easy to pull, let's say, like I said, the vacant list, you just got to pay a software. That's the only barrier to entry there. It's probably not going to be the best one. On top of that, too, a lot of you guys are doing terrible. And when I say terrible scripts. I sometimes see the worst scripts in the entire world from cold calling because you decide not to listen to what we say. I always say this, if you do guru things, you're going to get guru results. If you wholesale houses like a guru, you're going to get results like a guru. And gurus are broke. Most wholesaling real estate gurus are absolutely broke. They make money selling courses. And the issue is they'll tell you to use a script that they used 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so you have to do the stuff that active wholesalers are doing well do.
If it sounds like a script, it's not going to work. You have to, me and Zach teach you basic acronyms, but the reality is you got to turn your scripts into a conversation. And until you have an authentic, organic conversation, you're not going to get very far because I would love to call 1,000 people, go, are you selling your property? Yes or no? What's the price? Can you sell it cheaper? That next. I guarantee you're going to get a 100% failure rate. And that's how a lot of it's taught, because a lot of you guys are so scared to talk to people. You forgot, have a conversation. Go to your friend, go to your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, and have a conversation like that. They'll look at you like you're a robot. And that's what we're trying. Guys, we have enough with AI. AI is going to support us and help us. But you actually have to have conversations with people. I don't know why people are so scared. You just have to have a conversation. And how you talk to your friends, your loved ones, stuff like that, hopefully it's good. You have to have the ability to translate that to complete strangers. And the sooner you can accept that responsibility and understand that's what makes a difference, you'll do better. If you think you're going to be a robot and rip through these scripts, you're going to have a massive failure rate. And that's the secret. Take a little bit more time, but I'm telling you, yes, it is a numbers game. But unless you want to call 100,000 people, if you want to break it down to a couple thousand, you got to have a conversation with them. And I'm not telling you to waste time with people who want to sell their properties. But do you know when someone's going off the script when they call you? It's like
every time.
It's 100%. I can trip them up. I go, no, get to the end. Get to the end where you're going to pitch me. They're like, wait a minute. I have to ask you more questions.
Guys, you already, most people here, they have friends and family that they know very well. You could tell when you're talking to a friend and family member that they are just having a genuine conversation. Yeah. And the point is, you make it really casual and simple. When I talk to a motivated seller, say, hey, I'm looking to buy more properties. Are you looking to sell any? Okay, I know this guy genuinely just wants to see. He's not trying to sell me. It doesn't seem like he's trying to make this crazy money off of me. Like, he's just being genuine, right? Yeah. And guess what? If I say I don't want to sell my house, he's just casual about it, right? Now, versus I'm Zach with Zach Home Solutions, and I'm looking to buy a couple more properties for cash. Are you looking to sell your property for cash? And then they get the little weird eyebrow thing with the smile, maybe a suit. But like, guys, be authentic. Next part here is a lot of you guys are in the wrong market. I get this. It seems weird for me to say because I talk about it so much, but people still will wholesale in the wrong market. Zach, I am in Los Angeles, California, and I'm going to make it work. I get it all the time. Guys, LA is not a good wholesaling real estate market. I will tell you, when the average price point's $900,000 for a property, it's not going to be good. Statistically, when you're trying to become the next 6-figure-a-month wholesaler in LA, it's going to be very difficult. There are people that do it. Yeah. They are. But it's a very, very rare breed. Same thing with San Francisco. I know wholesalers making $100K plus a month in San Francisco. They are less than 5. All right. And HUD's everything documented. So when you go up to me and say, Zach, let's say I have 1,000 people I know, and they all say, I want to be in the NBA. That's my only goal. That or bust. It's like, that's not good for 1,000 people. Now, if I have 1,000 people say, Zach, I want to be a certified public accountant. Okay. That's something that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be realistic with yourself. If you're in New York City and you want to be the guy making $100K a month, do you have the knowledge that it takes to make $100K a month in a very specific niched out city? Probably not. The people I know making $100K a month in San Fran, they have 10 plus years under their belt, and they're very, very good at what they do.
With a lot of connections.
And it's a lot of connections. And so a lot of you guys are in the wrong market. And maybe you guys also make an excuse that you are in the wrong market too. I get this all the time. Someone said, Zach, I am in Toledo, Ohio, and I can't wholesale here. I saw someone on a Discord moderator told me that it's illegal in Ohio. I'll be put in handcuffs and 70 years in prison for even attempting a cold call, right? Yeah. Guys, these gurus have you so shook. The worst are the people in the I love our people in the comments. I love it. I love everyone on our Facebook groups. But sometimes you guys give the worst advice I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not saying that for everyone, but I'm saying some of you guys will. I got someone who told me, ready? I literally heard this yesterday. You're in Oklahoma. It's illegal to wholesale houses in Oklahoma without a license, right? That's right. I literally saw that. And I've pulled up the actual laws in the state of Oklahoma. You cannot literally what you can't publicly market for sale of property without a license. What that basically means is you can't post on Facebook or publicly market your equitable interest in a piece of real estate. Wholesaling real estate is legal, but there are real estate. I'm not even calling them influencers because I think they're so small comparatively because their advice is so bad. They literally said wholesaling is illegal in Oklahoma without a license. Guys, what that means is if you wholesale houses, you are automatically going to go to jail or you're going to get this massive fine. And if you read the law, it's completely different. That's why freewholesaling.com, we tell you, there's people that won't wholesale in the state of Oklahoma right now because they saw that stupid video. It is so terrible. And the truth is, if you actually know what the laws are, you actually read the law. That's why at freewholesaling.com, I actually bring up the law. I actually show you guys what the law is. Read it for yourself. I think you're an intelligent human being and you can look at it. No one does that, right?
Well, nobody reads, nobody asks questions. We just assume everything somebody tells us is true. But this is like a mainstream media issue. And now somehow, shocking, it's bled over to wholesaling. Guys, get the facts. Most of these laws, honestly, maybe you correct me, I've yet to see anybody in any of these questionable states. I've yet to see a prosecution, an example case. Not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm just telling you, these laws are so ridiculous. I'm not saying ignore them, but the reality is read the dang thing. It just says public marketing. We are adamantly against you publicly marketing a piece of real estate because you were just selling the contract. So if you follow the true intent of wholesaling and you do it correctly, you avoid most of these pitfalls. I get it. They've written some legislation that tries to manipulate how you market and stuff like that. You just got to pay attention, and that's all.
If you're outside the state of Illinois, and as of this video right now, if you're outside the state of Illinois, you can wholesale legally without a license. There are laws that are going to circumvent some parts you do. That's why freewholesaling.com would tell you. For example, Arizona has a disclosure law for wholesaling, but there are ways to get around it, which we show you at freewholesaling.com. It's all about your intent. And so let's say, for example, you're wholesaling in the state of Arizona. Of course, if you're intending solely to wholesale the house, you got to adhere to the law. But if you have a title company that you are going to double close with, or if you intend to double close, or you already have a private money funding just in case, or to buy it, and you end up wholesaling it, you can go around that law really easy. Now, the only other state they have a certain law that is like Illinois is the state of Maryland, but it is still up for air if that's even going to get passed or not. But really, outside of Illinois, if you're in Illinois, I'd say get a license. Outside of that, do not listen to these broke wholesaling gurus that literally know nothing. Unless it's an actual lawyer, don't do it. I actually talk to the real lawyers. I know the people that actually wholesale. It's crazy. The reason why I'm so stupidly confident in Oklahoma is because, first of all, I do deals in Oklahoma. No handcuffs on me. And second, that's how confident I am on it. And secondly, most importantly, I know about 5 guys doing about 3 or 4 deals every single month in Oklahoma without a real estate license. They're all fine with it, right? They have lawyers that are doing it all because they actually know the law. So a lot of people say they're in the wrong market, or they think they are in the wrong market and they want wholesale. That's a terrible thing to do. And this brings us to probably the most important part. That's where I see a lot of the failure in wholesaling. It's a knowledge issue. A lot of wholesalers right now have this massive knowledge gap between what's actually right and what is, what they're doing is wrong and what's right. For example, like I go back to the cold calling script. Some of you guys will listen to me and say, okay, I'll give you an example. This is a very important example. You didn't hear it. It's on my live stream on my personal channel.
Okay.
You have your personal channels on Monday, Rick Ginn YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that. And on the Zach Ginn YouTube channel, I go live on Sunday nights. And I had Chantel. Chantel is consistently getting deals every single month. She's amazing. She's getting like 3 or 4 deals every single month. She's like amazing on code violations. She went on to tell me, Zach, I messed up and it's all my fault. I should have listened to you. She said, this is a quote. I want everyone to listen on everywhere on this. She said, I had this buyer and he said he was just going to use a lender on this to buy it. And I knew, she said, I knew Zach said a million times at freewholesaling.com, if the cash buyer isn't cash, that means they're a lender buyer, not a cash buyer. And I should not go with it. But you know what? The guy was nice. I trusted him. I went through with it. And guess what happened? The lender, the day of the closing said, I think that structure on the shed or whatever is unpermitted.
Yeah.
We got to wait 14 days. Or there's like, we can't fund this for 14 more days. And you have to go back to the seller and say, we can't close the day of the closing. It's like,
Yeah.
And she was freaking out. She almost lost that massive deal. She saved it because she's really good at what she does.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. She knew what we said at freeholsing.com.
Yeah.
Why I say that's because it happens all the time. Lenders are so stupid that they will stop a closing they think the shingle's a little off today. They'll just do it.
Yeah.
And because they're corporate people.
So that's why you want a cash buyer. But the problem is a lot of you guys, well, it's technically cash. Listen, if you have to get a third party permission to fund it, it's a loan. And there's hard money tech. I've watched hard money get pulled out the day of because there's somebody in it that's not in a contract and they can fund. They play so many games with it, and you've got to understand it's in there for protection. And the last thing on that is they always make it sound so good and it tempts you. And honestly, that's how greed works. If it sounded like crap up front, you wouldn't even do it. They make it sound so perfect because they want to suck you in. And I've had it over and over when I avoid proof of funds, when I avoid, hard money. I'm not against hard money lenders. I won't sell a property to someone that's never done a hard money loan because the odds of them being successful are probably slim to none because they don't understand how hard money works. Most people today think I can get 100% funded. I'm like, dude, it's going to be so painful.
If cash isn't in the name, it's stupid.
Correct. So, and then using your own title company. The reason I write that rule is because, guys, I've been hit over the head probably 10 times and I just gave up. People frustrated me. I upset sellers, all because I depended on someone's third-party title company to try to manipulate the transaction. So the rules we put here, they sound basic. And the only time people get in trouble is like, it sounded so good. If it sounds so good and it breaks our basic rules at freeholsing.com, it should be a huge red flag to you because you don't know. So we're trying to save you from that experience. That's a great example. I tell you, it always sounds like, oh my God, it sounds so good. I had somebody offer me $70,000 over what I expect to get a wholesale deal, but I had to use their title company and they were going to try this not a creative financing deal, traditional. It was a nightmare. I lost the entire deal. I should have just taken my 25 grand and ran, but I got smoked. So I got greedy. I went for the 60. I broke multiple rules and I got nothing. And that's why we institute these rules for you because you don't know. And there's nothing worse than getting your first deal or two and get so excited you found the right seller. They're motivated. And then you match it with a crappy buyer and they string you along and they stress you out. And then you got to start all over. And a lot of people will quit just for that reason. So
we call them rules. I personally, I don't like rules. I don't like regulations. I don't like being told what to do. But this is why I try to make the least amount of rules possible. But I do have rules because when you break the rules, bad things happen. For example, there are ways where you break your own rules and you get away with it and it's good. But I'll tell you, you can only get away with it for so long. For example, we talk about football all the time. You can, in football, be offensive lineman and hold all the time. You'll get away with a couple of them. But if you hold every single time, most of the time you're going to get caught. And when you get caught, you're going to get burned in this business. And you don't want that to happen. So we tell you what to do. We can rant about all of our rules all day. You go to freeholsing.com, like you guys know. But if you go against the rules, bad things are going to happen. I'm just like, we call them rules on purpose. We've been in this business for a very long time combined, 26, 27 years combined. We've done over 5,000 combined wholesaling real estate deals. I can tell you, we've done a lot of deals. We've taught a lot of people how to get rich in this business. And what I can tell you is that is how you're going to become successful in real estate wholesaling. So that's it. That's how you do it. On top of this with the knowledge part, this is something I really need to talk about. Dave, I'm going to call Dave out here. I literally talked about the knowledge issue and Dave just literally spat out more garbage. Love you, Dave, but I got to call you out on this. In Philadelphia, you need a wholesaler's license,
right?
No, this is true.
Wholesaler's license.
There's a wholesaler's license in Philly. So let me talk about at freeholsing.com. We talk about this. Dave, I know more about this than I think anybody, even in Philly, okay, outside the government. There's something called a Philadelphia wholesaler's license, where if you are solely intending to wholesale real estate, you must have a license. You can't be a felon. You can't do anything. You got to do all these background checks. You got to do all this. It's like $200, $300. They just want money, right?
Yeah.
here's the thing. You do not need a wholesaler's license if you intend to buy the property, number one, which would be double closing. If you intend to buy it as a rental, if you intend to buy it to live in, or if you do any of those three things pretty much. And I break down the whole lot for wholesaling.com. So if you intend to buy the property, double close it, do you see how it's intend? It's not that if you make an assignment, you have to have a license. No. That's too hard lined. That never passed in court, right? But if you intend to only wholesale that transaction, you're screwed. You need a wholesaler license. But if you double close, or if you intend to buy it yourself, but you just, you know what? I was going to buy this for myself to live in, but you know what? I don't like this house anymore. I'm just going to give it to my partner, my cash buyer, just to sign it to make a profit. That circumvents that rule. And so you don't need a wholesaler's license. This is the knowledge part that I talk about all the time. Some guru has sunk their claws in your brain and told you that wholesaling's terrible. You need a license for everything. Maybe you go pay for my thing, join my real estate brokerage. I'll make a bunch of money off of you. Guys, the knowledge issue, I see it all the time. This is a huge example. Even on this live, I have to do it. Guys, no, it's terrible, terrible advice. Guys, you have to actually listen to real laws. Nobody that's read that Philadelphia law ever says that.
Or the key is you have to read it, because my pet peeve is they go, I heard, somebody said, the internet told me. Guys, then you might as well just go watch the news channels too, because they'll tell you how to think and how to breathe and what to do. So, and then this thing where everybody thinks, well, I'm gonna get a real estate license, I'll protect against all this garbage. You just open up a whole new set of wounds. Why don't you go get your financial license while you're at it? Why don't you go get your insurance license? Yeah, maybe. And it will never stop. I mean, I talked to an elevator guy the other day. I'm like, you got to get a special license for that. You need a license for everything. I need a license to frickin' fish, and I don't even want to talk about that. Soon you're going to need a license to do any type of sports.
Whatever. But guys,
read it, guys. You have to read it and stop having people spoon feed it to you. You all are smart on here. Obviously, if you're watching us, you're smart. But if you are in Philadelphia, pull the law up and read it word for word.
Or just go to freeholsaling.com and see us breaking it down.
Yeah.
But literally, just go look it up yourself. Guys, here's a really important quote that I think everyone should know. But George Washington actually said this. He said, don't believe everything people say on the internet. It's a very important quote.
He said that?
He said that.
Quite
it's a joke. Okay, like
you can't read, but it goes anything, and like everything somebody says is to a point. Like, let's talk about it. What do you think? What's the definition of the truth? This is a good one. I just got to point it. It's the facts presented to you at that time. So what you believe is true now, sometimes we learn a year later, a couple years later, maybe a day later, maybe an hour later, that you didn't have the right facts. So we all believe the truth. The truth is what you believe, which makes it very wishy-washy. So the idea is you have to look at things. And the last thing we need is somebody else's opinion, especially someone that doesn't really wholesale or do wholesaling. My favorite one, you guys know I'm a big direct mail guy. I heard direct mail doesn't work. It stinks. I tried it. I failed at it. I'm like, fine, you're correct, because you don't understand how to do it. Go over to mailingmastery.com. I teach you how to do it. I already told you, if you're going to do mailing for 1 month or 1 week, don't even bother doing it. It is a minimum 90-day cycle. That's why most people fail. Why? Because I got 21 years experience doing it. I know what the exact numbers are.
So guys, it's a knowledge issue, and that's where a lot of wholesalers get in trouble. So get your knowledge up by going to freeholsing.com. We'll teach you exactly how to wholesale houses the right way, absolutely for free. We are actually, I got an exciting announcement I can say today. We are looking, we're doing a big upgrade of freeholsing.com. It's very expensive what we're doing. Not happy about the cost of it, but we're doing a massive upgrade in the within a month, you'll see it. It'll be a really cool one. freeholsing.com is getting a massive update, and it's going to be even awesomer. That's all I can say for now. But I'm telling you guys, that's it. If you're looking to get your knowledge up, go to freeholsing.com, learn how to do it. Got nothing to sell you there. It's a free wholesaling stinking course. And I just want to get your knowledge right. I think so many wholesalers say the wrong things, and just trying to give you the right things to say. And, Got Jason here too. My closing attorney just sent my checks already. Can't believe it. I'm closing 2 deals. I just learned it completely for free. So shout out to Jason, working hard. He's been always on here. He's doing it.
So he's worked through the journey, and from where you start and like where you end up 6-9 months. Like, listen, we're all on a different pace. Some of you are in different markets. You've got a lot of different things going on. The idea is like he committed and worked through the journey. And so many people think like it's just this perfect, smooth path to the top. I'm just telling you, man, it's not. And that's what throws a lot of you off. Like, oh, it's a lot harder than I thought. I'm like, well, the more we can mentally prepare you walking in the wholesaling, understand is like, number one, you're going to have to be accountable to yourself. And number two, you and you only, the person to decide how successful you're going to be. You have to take the action. If you think you're going to skip it, my favorite part is when I see so many people start wholesaling and say they want to pay someone. They go, okay, I'm going to pay someone 10 grand to teach it to me. And then they get all excited. They go, and the guy goes, I'm going to give it to you. And then they find out, oh crap, I actually have to do the work. That's it. You don't skip the work. You think you can pay someone 5 or 10 grand and skip the journey in wholesaling? It's ridiculous. Listen, no matter how you do it, you're going to have to go through the fight, and you have to prepare yourself mentally for a battle, because you're going to do what very few people in this country or this world will make an attempt to do. Be completely independent and dictate the rest of their life. And then they're in control of their destiny. They do not let life dictate what's going to happen to them.
Exactly. And I can tell you, that's why we tell it. But, you know, I have heard this multiple times that wholesaling real estate in South Carolina is illegal.
Ooh.
Here's a funny quote. I was on a live with someone and they told me that. A big wholesaler told me that. And guess what happened?
What?
Jason, without a real estate license, just got 2 deals from an attorney. The attorney, a lawyer, is giving him a check for wholesaling real estate.
How can
so
that be?
Is South Carolina illegal? No. He just got the check. So I'm telling you guys, this business is legit. One thing I want to talk about, I got this. So I do want to explain this. This is a very interesting debate, right? There's nothing wrong with paying for coaching at all. Let me explain this. And I want to clarify what people tell me. A lot of people think when I talk about gurus and real estate and freewholesaling.com, I'm like, if you have to pay any dime to learn wholesaling, if you pay any dime to wholesale, that's terrible bad. I think you should invest as much money as possible into your marketing. I think that is an investment for yourself.
I agree.
And I'm never the guy to tell you that wholesaling real estate should be completely free. Guys, you have to pay 5 cents to at least get a contract printed, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's some cost to wholesaling. It should be minimal, should be for anyone to get started, very easy.
Mm-hmm.
But my issue starts coming in, it's not really the paying for the coaching, but a lot of coaches are. So my main issue when I talk about gurus, it's not anyone that charges money to learn wholesaling. Now, I'll give you one example. There's a tale of 2 gurus, okay? Gurus is I don't know, call it a bad name, but there's one guy, that I'll call most real estate wholesaling gurus who we talk about. They'll charge 10, 15 grand to get started in wholesaling real estate. They'll make you put on a credit card. They know you have no money, but they'll push it hard because they have a sales team, and they give you bad info. 95% of wholesalers out here that are giving you these crazy high ticket selling coaching programs, they are terrible. They don't wholesale anymore at all. And their knowledge sucks. Like, it's terrible knowledge. When I say don't pay for coaching like that, it's because the info is so bad.
But if the information's so good, why wouldn't they just put it out there? And
that's what, yeah.
Like, here's the problem. Listen, it's your choice. This is our opinion. But when you want to buy a wholesaling program, the people they target the most are newbies and beginners. Why? Because you're clueless. Like, I'm just being brutally frank. So a lot of people pay 5, 10 grand. Like, this is going to cure me. It's going to work. You have no idea what you're asking for. You can't even see the course. We've even had examples where they want you to sign an NDA. Like, normally, most people wouldn't be tempted by this because you think it's going to be the cure because it's the perfect marketing. You dive in, and then 9 times out of 10, you're disappointed because it's not what you think. There's thousands of people in the program, and then you go, okay, now I really got to figure this out. And that's the challenge is they target newbies because you guys are the ones that are spending the most on these courses. And think about it. Once you pay them, the onus is on you. And then they have the guts to go around and say, well, they didn't take the action needed. I'm like, no, they didn't understand even what they were getting into.
Well, the info is just so bad.
It was just such a impulse buy. And I know what you're thinking. People will spend between 3, 5, 10 grand on impulse buy. They do. And then there's a no refund policy, and then you got to fight with them. And that's the problem with it. So a good program would be transparent and show you, hey, this is what you're going to get. Why don't you come in and check it out? I've yet to see a guru program other than freewholesaling.com that will actually do that for you. What are we hiding behind? I don't understand.
But so the point of why I'm trying to do that, not to just bash people all day, but when I say that, most of them are like that. And that's why I say don't pay for the coaching, because 95% of the time it's trash. There's about 5% of people that sell programs that are actually legit. So I want to give an example. I'm not going to say this person's name, but it is a he. And I know we personally know this person very well.
Yeah.
We don't publicly talk about it. But they sell what I call a guru coaching program. I think it's overpriced. But here's the thing with this person. I've done deals with this person. They've shown me their actual business. They have decades in this wholesaling industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably haven't heard of this person. And they're trying to get in the coaching game, right? But we've known this person for a very long time. It's not what any guys think. He sells this crazy package, but he is one of the most OG legit wholesalers I know. And he sells a coaching program. It's the way he's brought up, I guess, right? But the people that he has, like the people that pay him, they always get really good results because he's actually legit. Like his info is really good. Yeah. And so what I mean by that is like, see, I personally, from a guy like that I know is like actually legit, they do the hands-on thing for that hype ticket thing. Hey, that guy makes a ton of money. That's fine. But for 95% of the time, it's going to be terrible. I'll call it 98% of the time. It's going to be terrible. And so unless I can personally vet the person, I actually see HUDs and all this stuff, I'm going to say no to the paying for coaching. But for the very rare exceptional person, sure.
Yeah.
And so don't think I'm like it's a black or white.
If you're a newbie, you don't know what questions to ask.
You don't need to.
Okay, well, that's fine. I guess that's the market rate. And that's the challenge. And listen, anybody who's gone like 1 or 2 years through wholesaling, they have a completely different outlook on how they do education. We're not anti-education. We're actually pro. The problem is you don't know who to trust in these markets. And you can't just take someone's social media following and this. Anybody can put anything out there. So my only advice to you, if you want to pay for it up front, you have no experience, ask some common sense questions. How long is the program? What's your refund policy? And how many current students are active in your system? I think those are, and then can you show me the last 5 deals you've done in your company? If they could answer those questions and you want to do it and you can afford it and you're not financing it on a credit card, go for it. I'm all about it. Yeah. But like no one's ever going to get those questions answered and it gets frustrating and they know it. That's why if people ask those questions, those programs would instantly go away.
So just be careful. So just letting you guys know, if there's a sales team involved in that, that's it. Like that guy we're talking about, though, people go to him and he just says, sure or no. Like says, here's the price. Stupid expensive, but like you go out. So what I'm telling you is, guys, the coaching thing, we talk about it so much, but like there's some guys, it's fine. Like I'm not totally against it, right? But I'll tell you, very, very rare. So just be careful with that. So what we're going to do is answer some questions like we're doing right now still help you guys out. So one we got, Cameron says, how do I get in the one-on-one? I want to learn really bad. Cameron, if you don't know how to get on the one-on-one already, just go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. This is our Facebook group. Let me show you right here. Wholesaling Houses for Real. 95,000 members. You go here to the pinned. All right. Can everyone see this? I think everyone can see this. You click this button. You go to the join here. You click the StreamYard. That is how easy it is. It's super stupid simple, and it's good to go. So let me get the link for everyone. Hop on the Facebook group, and that's basically it. I can't make it any easier to hop on, talk to us one-on-one, and when you do it, you'll be able to talk to us just like Michael. Michael,
how you doing?
What's up?
What's up, Michael?
No much. Like I'm actually this is my first week in wholesaling, like in total.
All right,
man.
Yeah, it's like I just looked up wholesaling and you guys' videos came up, and that's what a free course. I was like, it's free. I'm used to going doing courses in other industries and like paying. So like they're not charging. I'm like, why not? You know. So but
Hey.
so I'm learning. So I'm actually running the course to like start like this week. So like I'm thinking about the market because I live in New York, so I know it's not really good, and I don't drive either.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about doing like Michigan, like for virtual. But
Yeah.
like I know like I watched your video where it was like the top 25 markets. I know you said Detroit, but I was wondering, do you think like all of Michigan would be good? Because I'm virtual, so I can get
Yeah.
scale.
You're not wrong here. I would say markets that have over 100,000 people living in it, and the average price in that market's under 400. So that's going to be like the Grand Rapids. That's going to be, I mean, all of Wayne County really is kind of like that. Um, you can consider Ann Arbor if you really want, but like there's Kalamazoo. Like there's areas in Michigan that are high population that are great for wholesaling. They're not in the top 25, but they're really good.
And you know, yeah, cause like me, like I said, cause since I'm on the virtual, I can like scale it out, like you go on different.
Huh?
So I'm home, so that's why like tomorrow I actually think about doing like 'cause I didn't get to pull the list yet, cause like I work a lot. Like I'm actually at work now. I'm on lunch. That's how I really want to do this.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like tomorrow, like I'm actually gonna go on like the festivals. Like I actually saved like some people I saw. Like I saw one that's like a fire, like has low fire damage, and it's like 39,000. It was in Lansing, Michigan, and they actually the person said they want cash bar, like
Great
they
area.
actually cash. So I like tomorrow I'm gonna call them because they said I will take cash already in the description. So
I like
yes,
FISBOs, man. I would rather do I would rather do kind of government lists. I know you're a busy guy, but I think government lists are still gonna be the best use of your time personally. But hey, you're gonna get some skills from doing FISBOs. There's nothing wrong with it. Just learn how we do it the right way and everything. I think it should be good though.
yeah, I was actually gonna do the government list, but
Awesome.
then I like because like, I was like I think about like let me get into cold calling. So by the time I get the government list, at least I have it, and then if I get to deal with it, why not? You know, instead of just
Do
waiting
it at
to
the
get the
same time.
government list. So
Great
no,
idea.
yeah, no problem. We appreciate it. That's all the question. Oh, and also for the Facebook group because I was in the Facebook group. I put like a post, but I guess it's getting ready to get like pending. But every post I put it doesn't show up, so I wasn't
What's
sure.
the post you made?
It was asking basically like what markets. It was just asking like basic questions like what markets virtual, how many markets you think I should start with. Because I was thinking about doing at least like 2 to 3 like in different states as well. So this expand. So if I can't find a like say a government list in Michigan for instance, maybe going to a different market that's like the top 25. So then like at least I have enough leads because right now I want my thing is I want to do everything free first until I get my first 2 or 3 deals, and then then I'll go to PropStream, get the pay free paid everything paid after I get the 2 or 3 deals. So
So
it's
Michael,
like
we get 300 to 400 questions submitted every single day because there's 95,000 people in that group.
okay,
We
yes.
don't allow questions that are answered already in freewholesaling.com. If you go to the first part of freewholesaling.com, building your wholesaling foundations, there is should I do local or virtual wholesaling? On there, we explain very easily what you should do and which we should not do. Even the question you asked me today, if you went through freewholesaling.com, it already would have been answered for you. I'm just repeating the same information on there. And so that question probably got declined because it was commonly already asked in freewholesaling.com.
No, okay, no problem. I did go to the
Yeah,
like
you're good,
Yeah,
man.
Michael,
yeah.
look at this. Pretend you paid us 10 grand and go study the course. And that's how, like, if you treat it like that and you do it and go all the way through it, we would love to spoon feed everybody, but like hundreds of thousands of people, like there's only so much time in the day. And we want people to be interactive. So a majority of the questions, that's why we created freewholesaling.com to give you guys a map. And then we come on here, we strategize people who've never done a deal, people that are working on deals, and people looking to get to that next level. And you started on your journey. So treat it like a $10,000 course and go through it. If you paid me 10 grand, would you dive deeper in the freewholesaling.com?
Oh yeah,
Honestly.
I already dived deep.
Okay.
I'm already
So
past
you've
the
mentally spent it.
yeah,
Go
definitely. I
get the
already want to
value
know
there
there.
because Michael, I've been doing this 21 years. I know I can provide the value for you. But it's up to you if you're going to take the action.
Definitely. I already I'm in it. I already up to the marketing part, like the cold calling. So like,
Yeah.
I already passed like I saw the video. That's why I went to the like I knew about the
Okay.
Detroit. So I was just like, that's why I was asking on how many. Because the original question was how many I should start with. What like will be like the best like
Start with one and grow from there. Like don't try to do too much, because remember, this is a lot of information at the start. You've got to build a foundation with freewholesaling.com. You can't put on an engine on a boat that's not built yet. So get me a good boat to get you started, to get you going. A couple oars, and then we'll throw a motor on the back of that thing. But you got to deep dive into it and build a foundation. And I'm not talking about studying for months on end, but study stuff for a couple days and keep going.
Action.
So
Michael,
that's why like now like so like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna start actually calling and get like my feet wet. So then by the time I get the government list and everything, I already know you said that probates is really good, like water shutoffs. So I'm just gonna dive in, so then I get my 2-3 deals as quick as possible, so I can leave the job.
I like it.
Okay, man.
Michael, you sound like you're gonna take action. So
get it
after it, man.
Thank you so much.
Okay, right. Michael, have a good one.
Awesome. Lisa. Dimitri.
Yo, what up, guys?
What's up, Dimitri? How you doing?
Good, you?
Awesome, man.
I would turn on my camera, but my desktop doesn't have one, so
that's okay.
All right. So for probates, I just had a quick question. So they only give the case number and then the deceased name. So I've been having trouble like trying to find the address. So what I do is go to True People Search and look it up from there, and then try to see if the addresses match up with the property appraiser records. But like I'm only getting like
appraiser, dude.
Huh?
Why don't you just go to the property appraiser?
Yeah, you got the address.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have the address.
I just have the deceased name.
Just put the deceased name in
the property appraiser.
That's all you
They don't have the option. They only let you do the address or like the situus or the property ID. Yeah, I called. They said they don't give out that information, like the will information, because I tried to get the will. They said that's like private.
So you can do instead. You can go to the public records and look up their name, and the deed should be associated with their name.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah. I went to the public records, and then it just says their PR, the deceased name.
No. I'm talking about public records for the deeds. DEED.
Oh, okay. So you just look that up.
Sally Sue dies, so Sally Sue Johnston, just search up Johnston space Sally Sue, and then the public record, there should be a probate, and on the bottom there should be a deed, and it'll have the address on there. Sally Sue's name's on this deed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to reverse engineer it. Some of it, like some states make it a little bit more challenging than others. So you just got to find the way that's going to drive you the least amount of crazy. So we deal with this all the time in our markets.
Oh yeah.
And you got 3,500 counties, and every county is different. There is no two counties that are exactly the same.
So you just go to like look up the deed website, or what'd you say to look up?
Public records.
Public records. Okay.
The deed really has to be public.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Okay. And then you just type in the name, and then their address should be associated with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on the name, if it's like,
sometimes it's in a weird name, but like
if
honestly,
it's like a John Doe or something, sometimes you got to get a middle initial,
like a Michael Johnson,
like a Michael Smith. It's like challenging. You almost need a middle initial.
Like that, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I had a question because you were talking about scripts. So our script is kind of like straight to the point. Our script's like, hey, my name is blank. Are you the owner of blank? And then if they say yes or no, and then we go into MCTP after that. Is that nice or?
That's sweet.
Just make it sound as natural and organic as you can. Don't make it sound like a script. And then, you can vary it up like here and there, but you just got to get into a conversation with them and just be really patient with the probates. They work.
Yeah.
They're not like regular wholesale deals where they're fast, but boy, do they make up for it in profit. Oh
yeah, no, for sure. And then the AZ law, what's like that law about it? I was just curious for the wholesaling law. So do you have to like double close every wholesaling deal you were saying, or?
No. First of all, go to wholesaling.com, learn how to do it the right way.
Okay.
Most importantly,
yeah,
it's an intent law. So if you intend to only wholesale real estate, then you need to have them sign a disclosure that you're going to wholesale this one. If you intend to double close, or if you intend to buy it yourself for cash and then you decide you want to wholesale instead, you can easily get around that law. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, but you already know how that works.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. Yeah, that was it. Thank you guys.
All right, man.
Okay, man.
Bye.
Later.
Everyone knows I'm complete dummy, so do not take my advice literally for legal advice. Always contact a lawyer and all that fun disclosure stuff I have in the description. All right. Samuel.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
There we go.
There you go.
What's
man.
up?
Hey, so I talked to you last time. I'm
Yeah.
here in the Sarasota market. So I have like a few questions. So I've been doing sticky notes. I just got done like putting out sticky notes. I put out 35 today, and I've been getting a few calls, and I put out bandit signs and stuff. But the only thing that I'm coming up with, like, people are calling me, and like I had this one lady who's she had a probate, but she was saying that if she doesn't pay off like $9,000, it was a home equity loan from her mother. And she was saying if she didn't pay off the $9,000 by like Thursday, then they would remove her from the estate, and she would get they would basically go to the state and she can't sell it anymore. And I was like, I never heard of that in my life.
In the state of Florida?
Yeah, I'm in the state of Florida.
Did you look at how the property was titled?
It's in her name. The title's it's in her name, which I don't get it.
The only thing they can do is foreclose. That's it. Yeah. In the
So-
state of Florida, it's a long process. So unless they're already in a actual foreclosure case, so a home equity line, they have to foreclose. There's no other way to do it. And there's no other way to do it. Period.
So I think the problem was that I think I ended up getting outbid by another wholesaler, because she ended up saying that, oh, it's a guy from Tennessee, and they said that they're going to pay cash for like $420. It was a great comp, but she hates the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
So she's looking to move to Ocala, and she has a home here in Sarasota. So she was saying, if you can give me a cash offer, I don't want to deal with realtors. So if you give me a cash offer for $400,000, the problem is this home is there's nothing that's wrong with it. It's
so is she under contract right now with another wholesaler?
Yes, she is.
Okay,
and I asked about it, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your hands are kind of tied, dude. Once someone's disclosed they're in a legal binding contract, you got to be careful.
Sam, this is a pretty simple one.
Yeah,
if you're talking to somebody and they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, stop. Okay. You say this. You can say this though. Hey, if anything changes, let me know. But don't be like, you don't need your boyfriend. Break up with him and go with me. That's, first of all, that person would be like, Samuel sounds like a terrible person to say that. Say, hey, you know what? If something changes, I'm always here. I'm a nice guy. That's it.
And you're going to learn from, and the odds are somebody out of state's going to have a much higher failure ratio.
Oh, yeah.
And so you just go, hey, here's all I ever say to people like that. Hey, just sell your house. And then usually they vent on you. Oh my God, this guy's got me in a contract. He's threatening me with lawyers. This is just crazy. All I ask is, well, what's your expiration date? And that's all you can focus on, because anything else can be used against you. Because if she falls out of contract and you basically influenced it, you can be accountable for it. And they will hold you accountable. It's called contract interference. And lawyers are always taken down for it. You do not want to be the guy if you go with me, I'll pay you more or I'll do this. You can't. You just got to go, listen, you're dating someone. Let me know if it doesn't work out and I'll move on.
Don't sound like the guy that says, if you date me instead, I'll treat you way better. Yeah. It just sounds
And
terrible.
on the first one, understand is you did your job. You put the sticky note, you took the action. It's perfect. And even though if you don't get a deal out of this, you got a lesson.
Yeah.
You just got to find a way to move a little bit faster. And number two, these are problems you just bring your title company. Go, hey, she said this. Can you look up the title? And they'll tell you right off the bat, no, that's not. I did this all day long, thousands and thousands of times. You know why? Because I spent all my time on motivated sellers, and I let people smarter than me figure out the title. I didn't understand the title. To this day, when I have a problem, I go, I don't know. Let's just slap a contract on there. My team will figure it out for you.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you just get out of the contract. And I want you to learn going forward is you don't have to have the exact. If she has the intent to sell the house, you have the intent to buy it. Put it under contract and go, I'm going to get you an answer for that. But I'm confidently can't in the state of Florida. They can't change the title without foreclosing on the property. It's physically impossible. So
I'm sorry, go ahead. So I actually have another question when it comes down to pricing and stuff like that. She ended up giving me a price of $400,000. Do you still for example, I was talking to this one guy and he was way over the ARV, but he's like, oh, I'm looking to sell but he's like way over like in La La Land of the price.
Yeah.
Do you still even like entertain it? Like, do you still go after it, or do you just?
Here's what I look. I look at the seller and I look at the property. If the property's a piece of crap and it's run down, either I've seen it or they've told me it's a piece of crap, I chase them down till they sell it. Why? Because you know how many people peacock in this business? You know what I mean by peacocking?
No.
Everything's fine. I'm perfect. There's holes in the roof. There's water pouring in. It's a beautiful piece of property. Because you know what? If they take it to market, the market's brutal, especially in the state of Florida. They will pick you apart. And a realtor can put it under contract by the time they do the inspection. All realtors know this. Talk to a realtor in my state. They'll throw everything under contract and ask for a $20,000, $30,000 discount on the back end. If you don't have a perfect property. So like, here's how I deal with it. Or if they say, listen, I have to sell the property by this date, or I'm going to be foreclosed onto that, then I'll let the reality, sometimes the market will do the dirty work for you. Sometimes another wholesaler will do the work. I've had wholesalers put a property under contract like 150 grand over the ARV. I'm like, well, sure. And here's what I say. I just go like this. And I go, you know what? It would be irresponsible for you not to take that deal. Just make sure they have a legitimate deposit and they've shown you a proof, and make sure they can close the deal. And if they sign it, the odds are it's probably going to fail. And guess who's going to be there to clean it up? And I don't interfere. I just find out, okay, you gave them 30 days. Okay, I'll just check back you. I'll check back you on about day 25, 26. That's it. I don't interfere with people's contract because it's not right and it makes you liable. Yeah. And you can get in trouble doing that. So when they're pie in the sky, if the property's a piece of crap, I always keep them on my radar. Because have you ever told someone like not quite the truth and low, like if your life's in shambles, but you go, no, everything's perfect. I got plenty of money in the bank account. My girlfriend's good. And in the background, you know your girlfriend's leaving you and you know you're about to have an overdraft fee. This is what America does. And so especially when they meet someone like Samuel and they've never talked to you, their first 3 minutes, everything's perfect in my life. I always look at this. There's a reason you're on this list, or there's a reason you called me, or there's a reason we're having this conversation, and I leave it open. But if the house is perfect, they're perfect, and they're seeking a realtor, I just tell them, why don't you just go ahead and list it with a realtor? If there's no motivation, you're literally wasting your time with these people. And that's what I don't want you to waste. More wholesalers waste time trying to convert people that are never meant for our business. And so if I have a disgusting house and they want to do it with a realtor, the market will discipline them themselves. I'm not even worried about it. Period.
I'm really trying to like get my first contract. Like I've only been wholesaling for like 24 days.
Yeah.
But like I really am trying to.
You were close. What was the ARV on that probate, if you don't mind me asking?
It was 580. The house next door sold for 699. They got it under contract for 420.
Yeah.
It was a smoking deal.
I know. So look back through that and just say, listen, I get it. You're new at it. And the thing is, like, guys, understand, he took the risk and took the action. I know it's frustrating you didn't get it. And honestly, I would still follow up. Do the rules I gave you and play by the rules. Don't be a slimy wholesalers because they're the ones who ruined this business. But you're going to get a lesson or a deal, and you might actually get both out of this, Samuel. And I'm just telling you, that's how it works. You just learn. Do you guys know how many deals I screwed up my first year? It was terrible. It was really bad because I was so conservative and I wanted everything perfect. And I've learned from that. And the whole point of me is that teaching you guys with freewholesaling.com is take the risk, take the initiative. You're going to fail. You just got to learn to get back up on your feet and go. Now, your next one, you kind of know how to deal with it. It's like, hey, let me ask you this, Samuel. You're doing this 24 days. What if a client tells you, hey, listen, I got a probate deal, but my lawyer told me I can't sell it till the probate's complete? What are you going to say to him?
No, I watched one of you guys' videos about it is in Florida, you can sell it. And if you would like to sit down and talk
in the United States, you can. It's not just a Florida thing. You go, do you know there's a way you can sell your property before the probate's complete? Would you like to know how? And I use it as a lever to set an appointment with either virtually or physically. I go, well, let me ask you some questions. Now, I'm not going to give it till the very end. Because if you give it away, they're just going to take it and then do it with somebody else. Yeah. So use it as a lever. It's knowledge and action that just sets you apart. If you got bad knowledge, all the action in the world ain't going to make up for it. But I commend you for going out and doing the sticky notes. You know, it works. It works. So just double down on keep doing what you're doing. Because you got to understand, a lot of people to get that lead, if they actually got it through a correct source, they pay thousands of dollars just for that lead. I would. So you took the action to do it, and just keep learning. I could teach you a million things over freewholesaling.com. Just keep going through it. Yeah. See, I thought, you know how I found out about the probate thing? That was the biggest people's objection. I got to wait till the probate's over. I'm like, and I sat down with a lawyer and a title company. Do we have to wait till it's over? They go, no, nobody will tell you the truth. This is how it really works. I'm like, let's find a way to market it. And so all my hooks in probate is, let me show you how to sell your property before the probate's complete. And everybody wants to do it. Nobody wants to wait because it's their biggest asset within their estate.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
You got it, Samuel.
Do you guys are you guys pretty big on like what would you say that the percentage of activity you get from like bandit signs?
I mean, Sarasota, you got to test it out, dude.
It's all testing.
It's
so
all testing, man.
We're not big on you going out and buying 500 or 1,000 signs.
They're expensive. That's why, yeah.
Yeah. So did you buy the signs?
I did like yard signs and like wrote on them.
There you go. It works. Like,
just test it out, though. It might not work.
No, it might. You got to test it out. So some of the keys is while you're driving around, you'll consciously start to notice signs. So like you're thinking about signs. And so you look for patterns. And over a 30-day period, if signs are sticking out there and they're constantly putting them out, it means they're working. Mattress signs and dating sites, those are the ones you try to replicate because they're very good at getting traffic because that's 90% of where their business comes from. Bandit signs.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm going to just keep doing that. Thank you guys so much for the content as well.
Okay, man.
All right.
Good luck, man.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right.
So he took the action and he sticks a sticky note out there and it's like,
shocker, it works.
Oh my God. And the thing is, they're going to hit you with problems, especially when you're new, and you're not going to have any idea how to solve it. That's why we want you to make sure you align yourself with a title company because they're an expert at title and they can give you an instant answer and you can call your seller back and give them the good news.
I agree. Jake.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's up, Jake?
Hey, guys. Hey, I just started. Got in about 6 weeks ago. So I've been kind of grinding pretty hard. Ran into kind of two issues with a probate and foreclosure. The main one I'm looking at, the main issue is the mother passed away and left the house didn't have a will, but the house was supposed to fall to the son. But the land that the house is on is owned by the uncle. And so the uncle's trying to We're trying to figure out who the house goes to and how to go about getting this thing done. The son is kind of not available. I think drug-related problems. So we're not able to kind of get to him. And the house went up for auction, but no one wanted to get it in the city. So it's still just sitting there. Next auction date isn't until next year. And so uncle wants to try to get the house sold. We're just trying to figure out how to
Okay, so let's unpack this one first. What state are you in?
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. I was born in Kansas, by the way. So you're trying to figure out the will, am I correct? Like who gets what?
So we're pretty sure that the house is supposed to go to the son, but there is no will. There is no will.
So when you say we, are you talking about you and the seller?
Yeah. Or me and the landowner, which is the son's uncle.
Yeah. So you've got to understand this part of it. You've done your job. You located somebody that has a distressed type of property. This would qualify for it. You put them under contract. If they're the valid person to sign or not, that's not up to you to decide. And then you give it to a title company or an attorney because you don't have control of any of those answers after that. That's all you can do. Like, and I want to help people out, but I'm going to tell you, when they die without a will, intestate, it's not up to you to make that determination. And honestly, it's not even up to the current family. It's actually up to a judge and how they enter into it. So, did they actually open up a probate in the state of Kansas?
Yeah, the house is supposed to be under probate. I'm not entirely sure if it's still under probate or not. It's been hard.
But listen, you control what you can control, Jake, and let either a title company or attorney tell you what can be done with it. Because if somebody dies without a will and there's no clear chain, it can get really, really complicated quickly.
Yeah.
Because the question is who can sign for that house? And it might have to wind up going to some sort of public sale. and there's nothing you can do about it. Going to a public sale really has nothing to do with wholesaling unless you have inside information on. Now, here's what you could do. If it was a public sale, do they do the sales online in Kansas?
Yeah.
So the old days we used to show up. I would go out and find cash buyers. I literally did this. You can't do it anymore. It doesn't work. And find out what they pay for the property. And then I would go to the auction. And if he was willing to pay me 100 for it and I could buy it for like 80 or 85, I would leave a deposit check. I had to leave $1,000 at the court. It was non-refundable. And then I would have him fund me the $1,000. I'd have him leave a deposit and then I'd go. And then basically you had 48 hours to fund it. And I would tell him, listen, here's the deal. If I do it, it's like you're closing in 24 hours. That's the only other strategy you could do. It's like you did your deal, you found it, but like I know you want to help them out and solve their problem, but like you can't, it has to go through a court process and they're not going to involve you in it. So don't try to control it because you're not going to get the outcome you want on it.
So I should, at least for right now, if I have the only option I have besides the auction thing is to pretty much go have them get the contract signed up, take it to the title company and kind of see where it goes from
Just
there.
try. That's all you can do. Is anybody living in the house?
No, we're sure the son's like squatting in it, but no one's living in it.
You're kind of just follow that route and kind of move on and go find some other motivated sellers. There's smoke there, but I don't know if it's going to turn into a fire. Probably not.
Okay. My other question is, so I'm in Wichita, Kansas. It's kind of one of the largest cities in Kansas besides Kansas City. And I think the market might be a little saturated here. I don't have a whole bunch of money to put in to do a lot of marketing. So I've been kind of doing it. I don't know if I'm getting to the market with speed like I should. Do you guys have any suggestions? Like I've been thinking about going to some smaller towns around the area.
Jake, stop with the excuse, bro. Wichita is not a saturated market. All right. You're fine, man. Wichita is a very good market and it's not saturated by any means, dude. You are creating barriers in your head that Wichita is now a saturated market. I should go to Lawrenceville. There's like 4 people living there. And that's where I want to do. It's saturated for a reason, dude, in your head. It's because there's deals there, dude. That's it.
There's a lot of population.
Tons of people doing it. So that's why I wasn't sure. I mean, I've been putting out as much as I can.
Do what they're not willing to do. I can tell you, if you're going to co-call a high equity list, you're probably going to be saturated and you're probably going to do terrible and it won't do well because there's probably a decent amount of people doing that. But how many people in Wichita, Kansas are reverse trying for dollars right now? Probably not a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm probably one of the only people.
So, dude,
seeing notes.
So now we're switching up your mindset. Now you're the only person maybe in Wichita in your own in a zip code doing reverse drawing for dollars. Now it's not saturated. Now it's like a good opportunity.
Very few people do it. And there's a reason. It
You're doing the probates,
work.
dude. You got to do the government list, dude. You know what to do. I think that's a bad barrier you have in your head, and it's honestly only you, dude.
I could say every market in America is saturated. So, dude, I'm in the most saturated. Like it's ridiculous here in Florida. But like, as soon as somebody says it on our team, I'm like,
keep going.
You want to work or not? Like it's always been this way. Like I'm here to tell you guys. In early 2000, it's saturated. Wholesaling is going to be illegal. Everybody tried to talk me out of it. I hear it 21 years later. And I'm just telling you the saturation a lot because you just feel like there's a lot of competition. And honestly, it's a message telling you, hey, listen, do things much more laser focused and do what others aren't willing to do and carve it. And then get some deals on your belt. And then you can make a decision if you want to do some scaling things that would save you some time with money. But I'm all about in the beginning, man, get in there, driving for dollars, government list, reverse driving for dollars, because it still works today. As much as you guys want to use AI and all these softwares, sometimes you just got to go in and do the work and get it done. You have 400,000 plus homes there. There's people. Do you think someone's losing their job right now? Do you think somebody's passed away? Do you think someone's being foreclosed on? The more people, the more opportunity. So you have to look at it as like a blessing. You're not competing with realtors. And honestly, most wholesalers don't even know what they're doing. So do the actions that most others won't do and just put your mind and go to work. Because if you constantly compare yourself to the competition and stuff, you'll just psych yourself out.
100%. I get it. I feel you guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, right, man.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
That's it. Guys, this is how you get in this business. This is how you become successful. Why do you think us in wholesaling real estate, we beat all the stinking wholesaling gurus? There's two reasons. Number one, we teach you guys wholesaling real estate for free. We show you exactly everything you need to know absolutely for free. That's why if you're watching this video, you need to go to freewholesaling.com. Last but not least, why do we beat all these gurus? Why do we make them cry every day? Because we are Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, and I'm having a very hard time keeping these alligators down. So if you want to go out here and be a wheeling dealing, son of a gun wholesaling real estate and whoop these gurus' butts and actually become successful and beat everyone in your own market, one place, freewholesaling.com. So guys, go after it. Give us a woo and let's get it. Woo! All right, guys, go to freewholesaling.